So
Yep.
Shanahan and the Niners win the toss. Okay, he calls tails, it's tails. They make the decision. There is actually no benefit, not one that I can think of, to taking the ball first. A lot of people in the TikTok comments about this are saying, well, their defense was gassed, their defense was tired, they were just on the field for a long 2-minute drill, and they just got driven all the way down, and they're kind of demoralized and trying to find their breath. Do you know how much time went from the end of that regulation
Right.
to
A lot.
actual like real? I'm talking real time, not like
Yeah.
if I started a stopwatch the second that they clock
Probably
hit zero
close to
zero
10
zero,
minutes, right?
probably longer. You had
Yeah.
commercial break, you had a coin toss, you had another commercial break, and then you kicked the ball off. So we're looking at between 10 and 15 minutes of rest. Okay. And let's keep in mind, it's the damn Super Bowl. Like, you'd have to kill me to have me not be, for me to be thinking about, oh man, I'm tired. I don't know. It's the Super Bowl, dude. Like, you're numb. Like, your adrenaline is at the all-time high that you can ever be
Right.
at. That is such a bullshit thing. Well, our defense was gassed. I wanted to give them a series, and then his other explanation was, well, if we score and then they score, we want to be able to get the last laugh and have the third possession. It's like, dude, you're thinking way too. You're out thinking this whole thing.
Right.
It's not going to get. It almost never gets to a third possession. We've never even seen that happen. I don't think. Like, it's crazy to me. I don't think people realize. And Shanahan, as a play caller, if you've never called like offensive football in your life, this might not make sense to you. But let me put it this way, in simple terms: it's 1st and 10. You have 4 downs to get a first down in football, right? Barring any penalties or anything happening. Most of the time, if you don't get the first down within the 3 downs and it's fourth and more than 2 or 1 or 2 yards, you're probably going to punt the ball to let your defense continue to protect the scoreboard and play field position. When going into the drive in every single 1st and 10, 1st and 10, 1st and 10, that you have now 4 snaps guaranteed because you can't punt it, because if you punt it, the game's over. You have to get first downs. It transforms how you're calling plays. You now
Right.
have a whole added play each time to move the chains down the field. You can be incredibly aggressive on first down if you want. You can run the ball on 3rd and 7 if you want and get it to 4th and 2. Because you're going to see a softer defense. You can run play action knowing that, you could run it 2 times in a row if you want, knowing that you're going to have that extra down. And the Chiefs, several times on that game-winning drive, used 4th down conversions, and they used 3rd and tough and made it
Yeah.
4th and very reasonable several times, taking
Yep.
advantage of the situation. You can't tell me that, it's not the only reason they lost the game in overtime, but it is a huge part of it, because you give Andy Reid, a genius play caller, mastermind like that, an extra down every single time. It's already hard enough to stop him in 3 downs.
Right.
And Kyle Shanahan, as a head coach as long as he's been and as good of one as he is, there's no excuse to not knowing and understanding that. And I honestly don't know. Maybe he didn't know the players are coming out and saying that they never went over it. And meanwhile, the Chiefs players are coming out and saying
a failing.
they reviewed this.
I was going to say that's a failing in of itself, because I was aware of the rule change. I was actually shocked to hear, not only from the players, but even just fans or spectators that were saying they weren't aware of the postseason.
Yeah,
overtime.
I didn't know about it. I had
That Bills game, that insane Bills game, is the direct reason why this overtime rule change was initiated. And it wasn't this past offseason; it was the offseason before that. It was after the season. Offseason.
I guess we just haven't seen a game big enough where it's happened.
We've seen it once since the rule, and it was sometime last year, and it was not the Super Bowl, obviously. It was some other. But yeah, so those are the new postseason rules, where it's not sudden death for a touchdown. The other team is going to get the ball no matter what. So yeah, I mean, to hear Shanahan say that he didn't know that's what it was crazy to me.
Well, he never admitted that he didn't know, but the players
were saying
led us to believe that maybe Shanahan knew it, but he sure as hell didn't communicate it to his team, because the Chiefs players said
that's the players' fault too. I mean, this is your job, man.
A little bit, John, but honestly, it's on the coaches to educate their team and to go over situational football. Andy Reid and the
100%.
Chiefs, the players knew about it. You know why? Not because they went and studied it on their own. Because Andy Reid brought in officials and
Right.
said, hey, go over the rule changes for this year, go over some examples of what could happen, and then they practiced that situation. The Chiefs actually had a period of practice throughout the year that they would practice like once or twice every so often, where it's overtime in a playoff game, we need a touchdown, and we're going for 2. So they would practice that period and already have these 2-point plays practiced out that they've been doing for months. So they knew the second even if the Niners scored, they knew they were going to go down the field, score, and then they were not going to settle for tying and giving them the ball back. They were going to go for two, and that makes sense. And Shanahan probably should have known that. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. Huge mistake. People that are trying to justify it, the only even close to plausible excuse he has is that the defense was gassed, but I'm calling bullshit on that because they literally had 15 minutes of real time to recover and rest. Any of those people that are complaining about that, go outside, run 10 sprints, get gassed, and then start a stopwatch and wait 15 minutes and see if you're still gassed.
Right.
You're usually recovered. I don't even care if you're obese. You're probably recovered. Like,
Right.
these are professional athletes. It's what they're paid millions of dollars to do. It's the biggest
Not
game
to
in
mention
the world.
with like a cast of trainers sitting there ready to go for their every need. I mean, you got
with oxygen
massages,
masks,
you got oxygen
and
masks,
dude, it's
you got-
insane. Like, there's and they have substitutions. Like, you can, like, these defenses are reloading defensive linemen, and it's crazy, dude. Like, I don't know. I can't believe it on a stage that big to mess up like that. And it's really, it was just a dumb error. Like, that's all it is on the coach. And you can, Fred Warner, like, literally got all excited and said the receive thing like he thought it was, oh, we're getting the ball, it's over, we're gonna go down and score. Like, that's what I think that a lot of the team. I was curious to see what would have like if the Niners would have scored a touchdown on their first drive, would they have like acted like they won the game?
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
So bad. Yeah.
Thank God that didn't happen because that would have really showed the truth. But I honestly, I don't know. I don't know if Shanahan was aware. I assume he was. He just didn't communicate it to his players. And Fred Warner, the captain who went out there for the coin toss, clearly didn't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of these other players have come out and said that they weren't aware of the rule either, which means either he didn't know about it as a head coach or he didn't communicate it to his team, which
that's
equally as
horrible
bad.
mismanagement.
Equally
Yeah,
as bad.
It's mismanagement in either way.